Pep Talk UK, Pro Beez once again. Remember, subscribe. And I'm delighted to be joined by a man that's back in the UK from Portugal, Mr. Dean Whyte.
Come on.
How you doing, bro?
Maximum violence. We ready. It's fight week. We're hype. We're just ready. Portugal was amazing. It's very hot. And the experience was really, really good, you know. So we're back, man. It's ready to rumble time, man.
Yeah, and you know what? I must say on these shores, while she was away, fight count week after week had intriguing fights, had 50-50 fights. It had drama, it had debatable points decisions, talking points, but all roads now have led to Dillian Whyte versus Alexandra Sasha Povetkin. It's going to be a mad one. How you feeling? You feeling pumped up?
Yeah. I watched. You know, going back to what you said about the fight camp, the Friday show was really, really good. You know, like there were some close fights there with Shannon Courtney and is it Bill or something? That was a real cracker. Yeah. What's the next cracker I liked on that show was Zelfa Barrett fight. That guy was, you know, that guy was actually doing a little number on Zelfa Barrett. But you know, it just shows in this game. You know what I mean? If you got the get out of jail card, which is that power, and you manage to put the shot selection together and get him out of there. And yeah, I was trying to root for him, man. I saw that he was behind because the guy was just throwing so much volume. He was sharp, he was accurate, and it just didn't seem he was at the races that night. But you know what I mean? I could see he was putting some good shots to the body, and he was trying to plot some stuff, and he managed to get a great stoppage. So you know that was good for him. Because, you know, imagine just being signed to Matchroom and then they put you in there, such a hard fight, and then you end up losing, you know. But he'll learn from this, he'll come back, and hopefully his team, you know, get together and look at maybe what they could have done better in that. And, you know, he's got to get out of jail card, but at the end of the day, he was soundly beaten, outboxed. So he definitely needs to, you know, figure out that and kind of up his game. Maybe it was an off night. And if you can win an ugly fight like that, kudos to you, you know what I mean? You only can get, you know, bigger and better leading on from there. Shannon Courtney, she'll be back. Felix Cash had a good fight, Wellborn. But with Wellborn, the writing was on the wall. I think they said he'd been stopped in his last 2 or 3 fights from body shots. Felix Cash knew where the money was, and he honed in on the body shot, and it is what it was. It was still an interesting fight in patches because he walked onto a big hook in the first round, you know what I mean? So, like Eddie said, you know, that was probably, you know, one of the standout ones before this weekend. You know, this weekend's got a lot to kind of match up or catch up to kind of surpass that. Obviously, you know, when you're talking about the battle of the left hooks, you know, we're talking about Sasha Povetkin.
Yeah,
I mean,
Sasha,
the
man like
dangerous Russian.
Sasha, yeah.
So yeah, you get me, that man there. You see the kick, you see the cheeky blinders kick them man there. Them man is ready, fam.
The old star click suits, man, in the early 90s. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, them man has come ready, rude boy. So it's a good look, you know. I'm happy that they, you know, they've had a great training camp. They've come over confident, and it's good. You know, Dillian's very, very strong. He's sharp. He's fit. So you know, I'm expecting a very explosive and a dangerous fight. I know Povetkin will come and bring it. But this is similar. This is like a crossroads fight, you know, for me, as far as I'm concerned. He's 40 or somewhere around that number. You know, Dillian's the younger, hungrier, stronger man. Dillian's 6'3", Povetkin's 6'2". If you look at Povetkin's last few fights, there was, especially against Hunter, that was a really, really good fight. For me, that was, you know, that showed that he had still quite a bit, that, you know, that dog in him to fight the dog fight. Because Hunter, like, I rate him highly. But then when you go back and look at the Joe fight, he came in probably one of his career best shapes, because in like 15-5 or something like 15-7, I can remember. And then for the Hunter fight, he came in 16-5, you know? So I don't know if that's age catching up to him, but it's hard as to get the weight down and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But, you know, what I do know, obviously, he was a lot tougher in the AJ fight. And you can see early in that fight, because he was, a lot of the commentators had him in a commanding lead early in the first 2-3 rounds, you know, because he got Joshua's nose and stuff, and he was on it. But, you know, I expect the body snatcher to, you know, come out and set up his shot and set out his stall and just start fast, because at the end of the day, this is an older guy. You know, given the fact that he had experience, yes, gold medal Olympian, former world champion, but a hungry lion, a hungry wolf, you know, and world honors beckon, world title shot beckons, which he did over 1,000 days for. So, you know, I'm sure he's gonna set up shop and make sure he does everything he can on the night to, you know, to kind of put on a A1 performance, and try and stop Povetkin in devastating fashion, as he does. If it goes to the points, so be it. But what I look for is, I think if he starts fast, decisive, not overzealous, and leave yourself open to get countered, because as we know, Povetkin's very good at, you know, countering people when they fire. He likes to roll and slip and bob. He tends to roll off to left to come back with the left hook quite a lot, or he sets a lot of also where he does a similar thing where he bobs to the left, bobs to the right, and then throws the right hook, which he caught AJ and a few other guys. Would be caught Huey Fury with a peach of a shot, and Huey Fury showed that he's got a hell of a chin, just like Hunter did. But I mean, listen, the guy's still going strong at 40 years of age, like the Ukraine, who was Klitschko at 41, 42. There's something in the water over there with those guys. They look impeccable condition, and they're going on and going on like Arison, like the Duracell battery.
You know, what's interesting and what brings more clamour to this fight is Mauricio Solomon is just showed on social media the diamond belt, the WBC diamond belt has been added to this matchup, and even more of an incentive to pick up that belt, because I can recollect that Dillian and Tyson Fury were proposed to fight for that belt. It hasn't happened, but there's an opportunity to pick up that bling bling diamond belt. That's looking, it's looking amazing, mate.
I'm assuming you're talking about the diamond belt that's on the offer, that's on the table, and the interim world title. It's an amazing achievement that they both belts on the line. Both guys are going to come in, you know, they're going to get their mitts on the belt, and, you know, shout from the rooftops once the last bell is on. And for me, obviously, I feel like bro's gonna, you know, just gonna be too strong and have too much firepower with Povetkin. I'm underestimating him. I think he's still gonna come, and I think he'll have his part to play, and he'll try and bring the heat. But the man Dillian Whyte will distinguish and put out that smoke, get him out of there,
yeah,
and capture that belt.
I mean, look, sparring as well. I mean, you can't really get the right sparring partners that you want to get. How's that kind of affected Dillian's preparations leading up to this fight?
No, I think he's been all right. He's been in Portugal for a long time. He's got a big team around him. There's a few boys. He's got Alan the Babbage Savage, man. Trust me, you're not going to get any better than that. Believe me, the Savage is serious. You're going to see the Savage on fight night. The Savage got a fight. He's fighting the undercard. He's going to smoke, and he's going to get the eye out of there, whoever that is. But trust me, listen, the rounds are strong, fast-paced, and he's similar to Povetkin very much as an Eastern European. He's from Ukraine, and no, he's not from Ukraine. Sorry, my bad. He's from Croatia. Sorry about that. But I mean, he brings relentless. He takes a shot, he dishes it out, and he just doesn't stop throwing punches. To 10 solid rounds, and then Dill does round other people. So in terms of sparring partners, he's been doing loads of rounds. He's been doing, I don't know, 15, 17 rounds. Sometimes he'll do the 12 rounds of boxing, and he'll go in the bag for 4 or 5 rounds. You know what I mean? So in terms of fits, listen, the way how hot it was, and the atmosphere and the training, it's almost like he's training at altitude. So, you know, I think he'll be more than ready, strong and prepared. He's had vitamin D. You know, he'll be ready. He'll be ready in terms of fitness. What do you know about Povetkin? Listen, he's old now. He struggles to fight for 3 minutes of every round. This is why I said in the beginning that Dillian needs to set out his stall and fight assertive and bring a good tempo, and make sure we got the old man in him, and make sure he goes down and he doesn't able to recover. He's very good at slowing the pace down to his his way of fighting and slowing the pace down, working just in spats and not working the 3 rounds, you know. So I think it's going to be interesting, man. But that's a clever fight. If you can do that, if you can negate certain things, slow the pace down and make the man fight in your pace, could be there all night fighting, because obviously it's in the pace you're comfortable with. He needs to bring him into deep, deep waters, bring him out of that zone, fight at hard, go to the body, and use his ring generalship and use his jab. But like I said, it's easy for me to talk on this side of the defense, but it's yet to him to go in there and execute a game plan what these guys put together. But for me, he's been over there for 5 months training, set up shop, and like I said, I can attest to what Ruben and strength and conditioning guys have been doing to him and putting him through his absolute paces. And then guys inspiring, they're on it as well and drilling in him. So I mean, listen, it's going to be exciting. You know, we're going to see. He's going to be. Listen, December last year, we saw Dillian who was very, very unmotivated, not in it, and he managed to pull up a really, really good win, as far as I'm concerned, against a game opponent in Marius Whyte. Marius Whyte had a long time because he was preparing for another fight until he got this, and Dill took this on short notice. But you can see in the body structure of the makeup of Marius Whyte that he was in good, and you can see how he was fighting. You can see Dill was fighting spurts in that one. He was tired. He took quite a bit of punishment. But you will see the difference in how he's on Saturday night or Friday night on the scales as opposed to how he looked in Saudi when he weighed. So, you know, we expect him to come in a lot lighter, a lot stronger, a lot fitter. You know, I'm just looking forward to a great show for the fans. Look, obviously, because of everything that's going on across the world with this COVID-19, you know, not been any big headline shows. So this is going to be the first big headline show here on review. So if you haven't bought it, get it bought now and watch. You're going to see the battle of the left hooks, man, and the snatch your soul.
Yeah.
Or a spleen.
Has there been any distraction with Tyson Fury? Obviously, there's been a lot of to and fro on social media. Has Fury been a distraction for Dillian?
I don't think it would. Not really, because to be honest, he takes a lot of stuff with a pinch of salt. You know, very someone who he's trying to concentrate on one at a time. Obviously, sometimes he replies to certain things, but he knows he's got a task on hand. Kind of pays attention to that. After this fight, you might see a little bit more vocal and talking about it. But obviously, it's one step at a time, one stone unturned at one time. You know, you turn in one by one. He's got a decent fight in front of him, and you know, get past Saturday and then look at what's going on. But I can't see it being that. You know, listen, at the end of the day, look, these guys really went round and decided to make a fight. I know a lot of fans do want to see that fight. A lot of fans also want to see Dillian Whyte get his world title shot. Just me looking at what's going on, I know there's a lot of money online for these guys. The likelihood is Fury said in the past, a belt doesn't dictate me. I'm the lineal champ. And, you know, and that for me alludes to, and then it makes me come to my conclusion that if they try to force him, I believe he will relinquish WBC belt and continue on his way to make the fight with Wilder and then fight AJ. He doesn't have Dillian Whyte in his plans. I mean,
because Frank Warren also said that he doesn't see that happening. You know, he doesn't see Fury fulfilling his mandatory, that he just wants to fight AJ after Wilder.
I heard after Wilder anyway, so I'm assuming you're talking about the trilogy with the fight with
so Frank
Fury, Wilder. I don't know what's going on. From the news I've heard that the trilogy might be off for December and they're trying to push it to next year. And then Fury stating that he'd look to take another fight in interim. Biggie really, but you know, listen, Frank Warren is saying he's gonna, you know, invest in due diligence to get that sorted out. But you know, I don't know. You know, they signed up for 3 fights. I think no one doesn't really want to see the 3rd fight. It was sound beating. You know, maybe he might come back in 3rd fight and show us something different. You know, I'd like to have more evenly contested content. You know, but only time will. I think at this juncture, we're looking at Fury had the beating of him twice as far as concerned. You know, not too sure anything is going to change. But if it is, I prefer them to get their fight away in December and give Dillian his shot as early as possible next year, February, or if they move it to March or whatever they do. But as long as once Saturday passes, we can talk about what's going on in the future. He has a tough fight. I believe he will come through that with flying colours. I'm not estimating anyone, but you know, one at a time. You don't want to be looking and talking about people and fights down the line. If you take your eye off the price, it's a bit of a slippery slope, you know?
Definitely. So we've got to talk about Katie Taylor versus Bassoon. Another cracking fight on the undercard. Co-main event, Katie Taylor.
Which one?
Katie Taylor, co-main event.
Oh, Katie Taylor and Bassoon, yeah?
Who you got?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people said she lost the first fight and she was gifted that. So, you know, they ran it back now. They've given her, really and truly, they should have ran this back a very long time ago, if she told you, know. Obviously, they've given her quite a bit of time to maybe progress and learn and develop. I actually like Katie Taylor, good, strong fighter. She's done tremendously well. I like the coach, he's a good guy as well. But they've given her quite a bit of time. See, man, she needs to show us something. She needs to show that, you know, the first fight was a fluke and she managed to come out of there with a win. And this time she needs to go and show us what, you know, what all the hype is about in the UK about Katie Taylor, and show that, you know, she is a true champ, that she plans to dominate and be here for a time. And sometimes you can have an off night, or you can go for a close contested fight and be given the nod, and then come in the second fight and show your dominance and win. But listen, you know, we've got great fights on the card. You've got another good fight in Cole and Clay. So, you know, it's going to be it's definitely going to be a great card and interesting. Babes the Savage on there. So, I mean, like, listen, Saturday night, man, people need to tune in. It's going down.
Hey, Maximum Violence. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Come on, man. Maximum Violence.
Thank you, Mr. Dean Whyte. Maximum Violence, Fight Camp, Whyte versus Povetkin. We ready. Let's go, baby.
No doubt. Tune in, subscribe.
Thank you. Thank you.